Did Marvel make the right choice by not recasting Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther? That's the question of the day. So let's get into it.
No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
When you think of recasting, you'll most likely attribute it to something negative. But that's not always the case. There are numerous reasons for a role to be recast, from disagreements on set to contractual obligations, and at worst, the passing of an actor that is portraying the role. There are a few things you have to consider when you start to think about recasting a role, especially when the role has so much notoriety tied to it, like the Black Panther did. First, you have to take a look at the importance of the role to the story. Is it the leading role or is it a supporting role? How will this affect the overall story? And most importantly, what was the reason for the recast? This is something that happens quite often in the movie industry time and time again. As a matter of fact, there have been quite a few top Hollywood roles that underwent recasting. Lando Calrissian, for example. Originally, the role belonged to Mr. Colt 45 himself, Billy D. Williams.
Hello, what have we here?
And now the role is held by Donald Glover.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
Although I wouldn't necessarily call this a recast in a normal sense, because Solo, a Star Wars story, was more of a prequel that happened to fit loosely in this category. Then you have Bruce Banner, James Bond, and Spider Man. All of these roles underwent a recast at some point for their own respective reasons. But there's one recast that aligns closer to the situation of the Black Panther, and that's the recasting of Dumbledore and the Harry Potter franchise. Richard Harris was the original actor who played Dumbledore in the franchise, but due to his passing after the second film, Dumbledore had to be recast, and the role went to Michael Gambon. Since the role of Dumbledore was so crucial to the franchise, it definitely required an immediate recasting. Harry Potter and the Black Panther, they both have experienced the same setback, but yet they're very, very different. The release of Black Panther didn't feel just like any other movie. It felt like a cultural phenomenon. For some, this was their first black leading superhero film in the MCU, although that right truly belongs to Wesley Snipes and Blade. But nonetheless, Black Panther was a huge success, grossing over $1.3 billion. And that is damn impressive. This film was a huge deal for so many people. Going to the Black Panther release was on a whole nother level. It reminded me of how fans reacted when going to see Star Wars for the first time. People came dressed up like Darth Vader. People came dressed in Jedi attire, wielding their red and blue lightsabers, and just having an overall great and wholesome time. This is truly what it felt like to embrace a film on a more cultural level. Star Wars was for everyone. It brought people together, it brought people love, laughter, and entertainment. The Black Panther release, it felt the same to me. People came out dressed in traditional African garbs, standing around after the film, talking about their experiences, and genuinely showing their support and love for the film and the franchise. But the true star of the film was Chadwick Boseman and his performance as T'Challa. I give Marvel a lot of shit for some of the direction and decision making when it comes to the MCU, but I have to give credit where credit is due. They definitely are top tier when it comes to casting these roles in the MCU. And Chadwick Boseman was a perfect casting. The man just embodied everything that the character represented and stood for. He had the stoicism, he had the charisma, and he had such great chemistry with both Chris, Sebastian, and Anthony. It all just felt right. The role of T'Challa just fit Boseman like a glove. Due to his performance, we fell in love with the character and the franchise. And Marvel again knocked it right out of the park with their casting, just like they did when they cast Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Yes, I know Marvel has recast roles before. I also know Marvel will continue to recast roles going forward. But what makes this different is the nature and the nuance of the situation. Chadwick Boseman put so much into this role. He brought tons and tons of people together. He gave people hope, love, and attachment to his character as an actor and the role of the Black Panther. For generations to come, he will always be part of something special for bringing T'Challa and the Black Panther to life. Let him ride off in the sunset like the hero he was. Marvel made the right choice. Now, this just doesn't end here because this opened up so many new doors for Wakanda. Suri, she's going to get her chance to don the mantle of Black Panther like she did in the comics after T'Challa had his run in with Doctor Doom. Heck, this could possibly be how they introduced Doctor Doom to the MCU. Who knows at this point? And on top of everything else, this could also be a way for Eric Killmonger to return. He's also able to challenge for the mantle of the Black Panther as well because he does have that royal bloodline. This would make for a really great redemption story. And it's not like Marvel hasn't brought any characters back from the dead before. We also didn't really get any confirmation if he was dead or not. So there's that. But with the introduction of the multiverse, they could utilize this as a really good segue into opening up, like I said, those new doors and having a way to bring T'Challa back in the future with the recast. Overall, Marvel made the right choice, and I'm curious to see where this road takes us. Whenever the time comes and whoever they cast, they better bring their A game because they have some large shoes to fill. That's it for the video, guys. I really appreciate you guys sticking it out to the end, supporting the channel. And I do hope Marvel has success with this. I really want to see where they go. It's so many doors, like I said, have opened that they could segue into so many different branches. And with the multiverse, it's up in the air as to what could happen. But as always, guys, my name's Lincoln. This is the RPG show. I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, sub, and I'm out. Peace.